pulling up to the hard off in Nagaura in Chiba. Check out the parking lot. It's freaking dead, but here I am right after work with a few coworkers. We're going to hit it up. Let's get it going. Retro ReWire in the hunt. JJ here. Let's go to the showcase and see what kind of nice surprises that they have here. Now, this marks like my 4th or 5th time here, and the last time I was here, I picked up a PSX in the junk section for, I can't remember the price, maybe about $5,000. And it was partially working, mostly working. It was just having trouble with the PS2 reading. But here we have some Neo Geo KOF 94 for $9,000 before sales tax. Now, speaking of sales tax, this is not a tax-free shop just because it is a little bit removed from Tokyo. Not so far removed, but just enough where they're not going to have a tax-free thing. But $50,000 here for the CD-ROM core graphics combo. $44,000 here for the Mega Drive 2 and CD2 combo. $55,000 for the Super 32X. And $27,500 for the core graphics in the box. Now, mind you, this is the showcase. Premium stuff at premium prices. Although, you know, the Mega CD2, that used to be quite common. But with time, it's in the hands of collectors and whatnot. But anyhow, here we have the Egret 2 Mini. Arcade Memories, I don't know what that is though, actually, but they're quite expensive. Maybe like SD cards with the games. But anyhow, let's go down the aisle here. Here we got a Sega Saturn. This is a Model 2 coming in at $5,000 before that tax, and then $9,000 for a complete in the box unit. I'm currently using my Model 1 North American Sega Saturn, and I do like that model. Very reliable, old reliable, as I like to say. Here we have a PS3. It's coming in at $8,000. And I'm just going to be skipping around, guys. And this is going to be pretty much a raw feed. Look at this Star Ocean Xbox 360 bundle. 8,000 yen. I don't know if that includes the system or if it's just some kind of limited edition. Because I remember a lot of those games, at least like the Tales games by Namco in North America, had like these huge special limited editions. We have Biohazard 2 for 5,000 yen, and it looks like it has the manual back there, which is pretty cool. And then Castlevania Legends for 8,000. This is the cart only. This one had me thinking, because I definitely, you know, I'm a hardcore fan of Castlevania, and I want to add that into the collection. You get that complete in the box, that's going to be nearing like the 30,000 yen mark. And it's a shame that they didn't include it in the Castlevania collection, but anyhow, what else do we have here hanging? We have Metroid Fusion for 4,000. And then we have this Gakken Compact Vision TV game thing. And I don't know what the heck this is. We got some Kirby there for 6,000 and 600 yen. Maybe I should quote it with the tax. 5,500 there for F-Zero GX on the old GameCube. And they have Sonic Riders for 3,850 on the Cube. Haven't played that one. And then here's Darius R. 13,200 yen. I'm a huge fan of Darius too. As a matter of fact, I've been playing a lot of Darius too on the old Sega Mega Drive. And then there's Legendary Axe 2. Final something. No, that wasn't Final Soldier, but the Namco shooting game. Classic shooting game. We got Battletoads for 49,500 yen. 6,600 for Super Mario USA. Super R-Type for 6,600 yen. Quite a bit of a mishmash of games here. Here we have Doom for 11,000 next to Street Fighter 02 for 3,300 yen, both for the Super Famicom. I remember renting Doom way back. And at the time, I thought it was pretty cool, but looking back at it now, it's a little bit rough. We have Speed King. This is a Konami racer. We got Forever With Me Parodius, 8,800 yen. We got R-Type Delta for 5,500 yen. That is an absolute classic. And it's getting an HD remaster, which I believe it's hitting in October by courtesy of City Connection. I'm looking forward to that release, man. I'm going to get it for the Switch. Here we have KO with Flying Squadron, 24,200 yen for the Sega CD, and Outrunners for 8,800 yen. I recently picked that up in the old collection. That's one that I've been wanting for quite some time, but it would be, well, here's 16,500 yen for Gunstar Heroes on the old Game Gear. next to Steam Gear Mash. A whole bunch of Sega goodness here, but it would be nice if Sega released like a classic Outrun compilation, because I would love an arcade release of that Outrunners. But they had all the Capcom generations. That's pretty cool. We have Astal, Magic Knight Ray Earth, and then pointing this out, Hyperduel. A little bit of a misspelling there, but who cares? We have Panzer Dragoon Azel. And then this is that rare one, Sexy Parodius. Now, this one was out in the States, and it's about a little cheaper out in Sunken Treasure. Geez, forgetting the name. Night Stalkers S, 13,200 yen. That's getting a compilation release on the Switch and the PlayStation 4, PS5. And that's another one I'm probably going to pick up. What else do we have? We have Darius, Super Darius, or what is that? For the old PC Engine, Splatterhouse, and then a Phantasm Soldier, old Valis there, with old Yuko on the cover. And that's the single Super CD ROM release. Then we have Outrigger for the Dreamcast for 3,300 yen, and then Capcom versus SNK on the Neo Geo Pocket. That game is so good. Probably one of the greatest handheld of that kind of power, whatever, 8 bits or whatever you want to call it. Anyhow, it's a great game. We got some PlayStation Vitas. And look at the classic gun, the HVC-005 for the Famicom. And that was a bundle there. It included the 2 games. And now with my acquisition of this little CRT I have, I've been playing light gun games again. And I got to tell y'all, man, after a few hours, my shoulders, they do get a little bit fatigued. What else do we have here? We got some 3DS, some Nintendo Switch. We're just going to keep it moving here. And they have stuff all over. I think it was at this shop. I can't remember what else I picked up during my last visit. But anyhow, here we have the Knights 3D controller bundle for 8,000 yen, which is slightly lower than what I'm used to seeing. But again, if condition is something that you're really particular about, hard off might not always be the best choice. And they certainly do have a few things that are more on the mint side of things. But it's some stores do not. Here we have Bloodia, and they also had that for the old PC Engine for 880. And here's we have a couple loose hue cards. Galaga 88. I hear great things about that one. And then Genpei Tomaden, Final Soldier. I still don't have a copy of that. Oh no, I do. See, that's dangerous. Once you start building up this huge collection, if you can't remember what you have, I don't know. But anyhow, what do we have? Loose cards. So many loose cards. And this particular, here we have Darwin 4081. I've been playing that one off and on. Kind of an interesting title by Data East. Dragon Ninja. That's a cool cover there. But anyhow, I kind of lost my train of thought. Here, what's this called? That one had a Switch release by Limited Run Games. It's also on Steam, and you can buy it digitally on the Nintendo eShop. But yeah, they close. That's what I was going to say. They close at 7:30. Now, some shops close at 8, and others will close at 7. So keep that in mind, because sometimes half hour or an hour makes all the difference. And sometimes when you come in towards the tail end of the opening hours, you can make some rash decisions. So plan accordingly. And in there, you saw Big Run, Jaleco's Big Run Rally for the old Super Famicom. I believe that was like a very early title. I don't know if it was a launch title, but it's kind of like just a rally game, a little bit rough, but I ended up picking it up just because I am a bit curious. Thoroughbreeder 2 with its cool cover. We got Final Fight here for 1,100 yen. They had a pretty good selection here. 1,650 for Double Dragon, 2,750 for X3, and then the Super Famicom Station Rack for 2,000 yen. I was seriously considering this. But then I thought to myself, nah, because I do have like the little display or special case that allows you to fit like 10 Super Famicom games. So I wouldn't really have a need for that if I got that rack. 4,400 yen for Chrono Trigger. Now here, this is where things start getting good, y'all. Sega Mega Drive. Look at all these games, and they had some hardcore titles in here. You know, Super Shinobi 2, Thunder Force 4, Contra Hard Corps, and then they have Warrior Aleste, and then what's the troubleshooter? I always forget like the Japanese name of that one. They got Hellfire. All sorts of stuff in here. Saint Sword. I was thinking about getting rid of Saint Sword, and then I popped it in, and then it's actually pretty good. It's not bad. And then Bare Knuckle 2 there for 8,800 yen. Thunder Force 3 for 7,700. What's this? Rent a Hero for 5,500. Granada. They also had the Battleship Gamora. And then here we have the Donald Duck game. Aladdin. Quackshot is that Donald Duck game. That's a pretty fun one. But they had some pretty heavy hitters. Yeah, there's that Battleship Gamora for 19,800 yen. And then Warrior Aleste, 27,700. 69,300 yen for Troubleshooter. And then 66,000. I think that's like the most expensive Mega Drive game for Contra Hard Corps. They also had Arrow Flash there for 19,800 yen. They had Road Rash and a couple of Fatal Fury games. But not a bad selection. Now, keep in mind, like Sega Mega Drive, they didn't sell as well out here. So the games are always limited, and to see that kind of collection at a freaking hard off is pretty cool. And that's going to be for the old Wii. Here we have an N64 controller coming in at 2,200 yen. And then I was looking for a remote control because I have a little high fidelity compact stereo system, a Kenwood. And some of the features are locked behind a remote. I didn't find it, but it's on the way. In fact, it should be here today. But here we have Otogi 2750. This is by From Software. They also made a sequel. Kind of an interesting game. I used to have it. Here we have NBA Tonight. Look at that, man. And we have Inside Pitch 2003. Before, they had quite a bit of variety of with the sports titles, Major League Baseball, basketball, but now it just seems all condensed into one. We have 02, Sonic R, 2750. Now on to the glorious Sega Saturn. Freaking love this old Sega. We have Sonic Jam for 1650, no manual though. And then Overdriving, or the Need for Speed there. Shining Wisdom for 500 yen. But yeah, I'm getting really close to finishing this collection. But what I'm after is just, it's going to be locked behind glass. 2750 for Layer Section or Ray Force. Highly recommended. Virtua Racing 2750. I love that game as well. I love it on the PS2, on the Switch. I haven't tried the Genesis version though. And then all sorts of role-playing games. Here we have Darius Gaiden. 2,200 yen. That one's also it's up there with Ray Force. So good. Then we have Side Pocket 2 for 330 yen. Next to some Virtua Fighter games. But not a bad selection of Sega games. Here we have Dead or Alive for 1,100 yen. And another copy of Sonic Jam, 2,200 yen. I hear that those versions are not as good as the original. Here's the NBA Jam Extreme 1650 with old Sean Kemp on the cover. I almost got this, man. But then I was like, am I really going to play it? I don't know. I probably would have, but the thing that had me put it back, which is kind of silly for some of you, but it just didn't have the OB card, and the manual was a bit wrinkled. And, so we'll just put that one back. What else do we have here? We have there's that Bomberman Racing. This Project Gaia Ray 2750. Now, this is my first time seeing this. And this is like a virtual on clone. Now, I'm not familiar with the entire library of any machine, any platform. And that's the nice thing about, like game hunting. I typically try to avoid watching like hidden gems videos because coming out to I come out to these stores and sometimes you see a game for the first time, and now with thanks to like smartphones and the internet, we can look it up and kind of get an idea. Here we have Dino Crisis for 1650, but that Project Gaia, you know, I wanted to get it, but from what I saw, I think I could find it for less if I keep looking. So I was patient and I put it back. But that one's definitely on my radar. I love a good Sega clone. I don't know if it's good, you know, but I just want to try it out. And I hear it has like the twin stick support on the DualShock. So that could be a hardcore pro. But that Project Gaia on the radar, you know, but what I was saying, it kind of reminds me when I would go to like the video rental store. I used to go to like Cutting Edge, American Video, National Video, Moz Video, Channel 3 Video, and just sitting there, you know, looking at the game covers and screenshots and magazines and whatnot. But I don't know, it's just that nostalgic factor of finding games like that. So PS2, we got Genji, 550 yen. I always pull this one out because I don't have it in my collection and I kind of want it, but I already beat it. I'm not going to play through it to the end, but there's Burnout Dominator. Those games have nice visuals on the PlayStation 2. We have Rez for 330 yen. Pretty good deal for a really cool game. And we'll just kind of gloss over the Switch. I'll make another episode where, you know, maybe more focusing more on current gen stuff. Here we got some DS titles with this tank business here for 6,600. But anyhow, I was in a bit of a hurry because I wanted to film and then I wanted to shop, you know. And I wanted to look up more information on that Project Gaia Ray. Arachnoid, 4,400 yen. What do we? Oh, there's a Kirby there for the Famicom. And we got some Wonder Swan stuff, just kind of a mixture of everything. And then Sonic and Tails, Sonic the Hedgehog 2. That one's 1650, but it was definitely rough. Then we have a WarioWare game. What else do we have? We got some arcade sticks, a whole bunch of Super Famicom, as you can see there. A lot of tools here. And then the official AV for the Sega Mega Drive. You know, some people collect this stuff, 3,000 there. And as far as I know, it was complete. I didn't dig too deep into this section, you know, which sometimes is sometimes you find some pretty cool stuff. But anyhow, let's make our way to the junk section. Look at all those laser discs and records. And then here we have a showcase. Actually, the last time I was here, I picked up a Game Boy Pocket, a green one for 2,000 yen. And there was nothing wrong with it. Here we have a Sonic CD for 3,300 yen. We got some AirPods. We got the Game Boy Pocket printer for 3,300 yen. I wonder how many of those varieties of those printers exist. But 3,000, 5,000, 6,000, 4,400 yen for the Game Boy Advance, the orange one. But all sorts of pricing. We got a OLED Vita there for 9,900 yen, 3,300 for a DS. And you want to look carefully through here because there is a few things that I may have missed. 6,600 yen there for the old 3DS. And that's actually my favorite flavor. Here's what is this? The floppy drive for the Sega Saturn. 16,500 yen. 4,400 for this Pocket. Now, this is my favorite color just because it has like that nostalgic factor of the original. And what else do we have? Old PS1. Another one of those Gakken Compact Vision TV game systems. Here we got the old cameras. And the testing station. Oh, man. I remember last time I was here, I was there for a few hours just testing stuff. And, you know, when I work in Chiba, man, I've hit up all the hard offs. And that's... I was living in Chiba due to the Olympic project, which I was a part of. And I was living there for like a year. I was in a company apartment. And I would go home on the weekends. That was a wild time. PS2s for 2,200 yen, 27. Yeah, some of that stuff was actually a little bit higher priced than I was expecting. We have Gun Bullet in there. And a lot of these games are 100 yen, if I'm not mistaken. Gun Bullet, yeah. By Namco. What else do we have? Yeah, nothing really special. And I didn't dig too deep in here just because down the main aisle, you know, there was a few temptations. Here we have 2,200 yen for this Sega Saturn, a Model 2. We got some UMDs. And then the Japan Football Association, a little case there for I don't know what. We got some Xbox 360 titles and a few Sega ones in there. And all sorts of controllers. And then 550. Now, this is back at the junk showcase. I found this stuff. 4,400 yen. That's what I mean. This is way in the back. So definitely take your time. And I like to bounce around between areas. Oh, here we go. Now, this is the most dangerous area, the hi-fi. Look at all this audio greatness. Man, oh, man. We're just going to glance at it a little bit. Now, the reason why I'm showing you guys this is because I'm making moves with the game room, and I'm certain pieces of audio equipment I'm changing out, which I like to do periodically because I love testing this stuff. Now, these compact systems, man, they do, you know, some of them will play the tape, the mini disc, the CD. They'll have optical in, subwoofer out connections, and there's such a blast, these little things. And I love the ones with the meters, especially when I'm playing Sega or Super Nintendo. Those meters are just dancing like crazy. Here we have some Super Famicom titles. What else do we have? Well, let's take a look. Something by MediaWorks, 4,400 yen next to Darius Twin, and then Super C for 5,500, and then Gunstar Heroes Advance for 19,800 yen, and another copy of Quackshot. With that Gunstar Heroes Advance, I remember finding a loose cart in the junk section at a hard off for 200 yen. That was a great day. But I beat that game in North America as that was one of the ones that I purchased. There's the flight stick for the old Saturn. That's the Space Harrier bundle for 27,500 yen, which is about average, believe it or not. Look at this crazy controller. The Sega Saturn Joypad AI. That thing looks so silly. I think that one also had like a North American release. This definitely did, by Acclaim, the dual turbo wireless remotes. And then just coming back here, check out this the screw controller by Namco, the Negcon. 2,200 yen in the box. Now, I didn't pick it up. As a matter of fact, I recently sold mine because I have the Joy-Con and I prefer that one. Although I believe that one has better compatibility across the board with other games. But, you know, I just wasn't using it enough. And I found the Joy-Con for like 300 yen because it was severely discolored. But it works. So it's all good. Let's see what else we got up in here. We got some Wii U. We got the Mario Kart Racing Wheel. And then we have The Shooting, Simple 1500, Volume 24. Now, this is like a light gun game. Pretty fun one. But you can find it for 100 yen. As a matter of fact, 2 days ago, I saw it for 100 yen. But that one came with the Obi card, if that makes a difference. Here we have Galaxy Fight. I do want to get this. 2,200 yen. Now, they had this at a different shop, and that'll be the following In the Hunt episode. But Galaxy Fight, I want that. But I want it on the Neo Geo CD. Here we have Sylphied, 3,300 yen. That's one of my favorite Sega CD games. We got Vampire Hunter. I don't know. This is another Mega Drive game. Probably some, I have no idea. Here we have Atlas for the Super CD-ROM. And look at this. Now, if you look at the condition of these games, we're definitely, we've been in it for a few years now. The era of the C-rated game, because the condition of a lot of these games, whether they're in the showcase or not, the condition throughout the years has degraded because all the good stuff, you know, is in the hands of collectors and other stores across the world, and whatnot. But you know, some of these retro games, the condition is becoming less and less mint. And that was the soundtrack to Magic Knight Ray Earth. Look at this, Dance Summit 2000. Look at this cover. Bust a Move. That is a funky cover, man. I do dig it, though. Freaking scan lines. And then we have Guitaro Man for 3,000 yen. I picked up a copy of that for 500 yen, and that was for a cousin of mine. But that's going to be it for these episodes. Look at these massive things. Try to get that in your game room. 600,000. 60,000 just in tax. Look at that. My goodness. I wouldn't mind hooking those up. But anyhow, more In the Hunt on the way. Ciao.